Good evening. Welcome to the October 11, 2022 Commission on Disabilities meeting.
Good evening.
We are going to start with the salute the flag. I have trusty little flag, if I can keep it to stay on the screen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to do a roll call. Remember, Pauline, do you have your internet okay? Or do you want me to do the roll?
It's in and out, so I will do the best I can.
Okay, I can do it if you want. This way you don't go crazy. The chair of the Chico, myself, I am here. Pauline Perno, vice chair. Mario Romanis.
Here, present.
Okay. Robert Brown.
Here.
Okay. I know Jason's going to be a few minutes late. Mario had mentioned to me. Asma Abu Fuda is going to be absent tonight. She's under the weather. And I'm not sure if Sophia, the student high school intern, is going to make it. So if she comes in, I will know. Sometimes she pops in as an attendee because she has to come in from her phone. So I'll keep an eye on it to see if she comes in. That was our attendance for that. So Jason will be on. He's just running a few minutes late, and he'll just come in right in on Mario's screen because they share the computer over there. Motion, item one was a motion to approve the meeting minutes from September 13, 2022 meeting. I had sent those minutes out to everyone ahead of time. Not sure if there was any issues or if there was anything that I was missing on that. So if everyone had a chance to take a look at it, if somebody can make a motion to approve and then a second on it.
I'll approve it.
Okay, and just need a second.
Motion to approve.
Okay, and Robert seconded. Perfect. Okay. Item two is updates and next steps from the September meeting. One of the things under item two is an update from Pauline regarding developing a calendar for guest speakers at our monthly meetings, which is tabled from September meeting. So I spoke to her and she asked me to put it on here, a little note that she'll talk about. She's been working on a format to have special guest presentation for 10 to 15 minutes, along with time included for Q&A each month. So Pauline, if you wanted to talk about that a little bit.
I went through and took all our meeting dates and kind of put together a brief letter. And I did email, I sent one out. I just wanted to see what kind of response, if we got one. I sent one to Lauren Buck. I have not heard back.
Okay.
Now, my question is that I believe the email that I sent it to was a general purpose email for inspectional services, but I couldn't find her in my directory. So that might be my issue. So I will catch up with you later. What I was trying to do in this letter is to try to outline some very, very brief, just like a format so that they wouldn't feel inundated to fill up the whole time. So doing 10 to 15 minutes. Once I'm done with that, I've had some issues with my computer. What else is new? I will get those off to each and every one of you. You can take a look at that and see if that's something that looks viable. The other thought I had is where we are thinking of limiting the time frame to 10 to 15 minutes, we might, if
Your sound went out, Pauline. You froze on us. Yeah.
Yeah, he's here. So
here's my question. Is there a directory for all the directors? Or
I can get that. I can get, there's not a directory per se. Usually if you go to the city's website and you can find it, but I can get you, it's usually the first initial and last name at revere.org.
Well, that's what I did, but where there was that transition where Lauren went from one position to another, I didn't know if something changed. So like I said, I'm still waiting to hear back. I did get a confirmation that my email was received. So I'm looking
Okay.
at that as very positive. So that's where we stand right now. And I was kind of trying to brainstorm also, where October, November, December are kind of
And she was in the middle of talking, so
cold
they say,
months.
they go here. did.
Maybe tagging the first three people that were coming to my mind would be fire, health department, and DPW for like the snow stuff that's going to unfortunately be catching up with us very quickly. So those were my thoughts, and then kind of trickle down the list thereafter, like springtime, maybe like parking things, parking issues, and go on that way. So that's where I'm at. I have been working on it. And as soon as I get that, my little list of it's not even a list, it's more like a little snapshot of who you are, why we've invited you here, anything that they'd like to touch upon, like anything that's hot for the month. I was thinking, where we still have a lot of COVID vaccines out there and we're getting new variants fast and furious. So maybe health department could touch on the COVID, the flu vaccines, how to keep yourself healthy, what to do if you're not feeling well, where are some places that you can contact. So that's what I'm in the middle of doing. So that's my update on that. Any
Okay.
thoughts?
The other thing, just wanted to let you know that Jason is now here and Sophia is here.
Yes.
Hello, Jason and
I
Sophia.
just moved Sophia over from attendee to
Hi.
a panel.
That's fine.
There's one agency that I know has wanted to go to Commission on Disabilities and speak to different Commission on Disabilities. And I've actually had some communication with someone, and they are from, let me find it. Let me see. I'm trying to think. I can't find it off the top of my head, but I have.
Are they a local agency within Revere, or is it?
No, state level. They provide provide legal aid to people with disabilities.
Oh,
And trying to find it here. I can get the contact
okay, great.
and get that to you. It just can't pop it up on my computer right now. I know that they wanted to meet different Commission on Disabilities and attend their monthly meetings for a quick overview of what they offer and things like that. There is a gentleman that when I was he follows our meetings, and he noticed when I was talking about the hybrid meetings, and he was letting me know what was going on with the legislature when it got vetoed, and different agencies that are trying to get that veto overturned. So yeah, I'll get that information to you to see if we could set up possibly having them come to a meeting. I know that in the past we had a couple of health agencies came. Mystic Valley came before years ago and did a brief summation for families that have people with disabilities, that they could talk about what kind of services they offer. So agencies like that, we could also possibly have and come and discuss briefly some information like that that's out there. Basically, what I try to instill in people when they call us, we're not advocates for them. We are a form of resource that we can let them know, people in our community, who they can reach out to for services is basically what we are for. We just want to be able to put them in touch with the right people and who they can contact. And that's what I try having some of that information on the disabilities page on the City of Revere. Some of those main agencies that I know of that would be able to assist them, like Boston Independent Living, Mystic Valley. I think there's iCare. I can't remember all the names total, but there's a bunch that are listed on there, state agencies and resources. for them to reach out to. That's, basically what we're here for, is just to let them know, to the best of our knowledge, who they can reach out to, where to go. We can't give them any legal advice. That's not what we're here for. We can't really go into legal details with them. We can just try and steer them in the right direction on who to contact.
I think 90% of the time, that's the biggest issue, is who do you call? I think
Right.
in any case, and it doesn't matter what you're talking about. I think that right there, with so much going on in the world and so many issues, that even though it might be a legal issue, it might be so specialized that maybe one agency versus the other. And I'm finding that more and more as I'm delving into things, is that, there might be 4 or 5 different agencies or 4 or 5 different people, that there may be some overlap, but a lot of times there is not. So I think
Yeah, the agency that I was thinking about that wants to come is the Disability Law Center of Massachusetts.
Disability Law Center. Okay.
Yeah. So they do a lot of pro bono work, and they're the ones that want to go and talk to different commission on disabilities. But it's when COVID hit, that really put a hamper on a lot of these agencies. A lot of these agencies are still working remotely. A lot of these agencies, their workforce is down. They never really got the workforce to come back.
No, I know.
So that's a big problem, and Mario and Jason can attest
Jason.
to that.
Yeah.
There's a little more to it than that, Ralph. You've got, that is true, and the RMB, for example, is no exception to that rule. We've been short-staffed, but some of it's also people. An example, Social Security Administration is not allowed to bring stuff home. So
Right.
Why do they keep saying work from home? You can't.
Right.
You can only do phone calls. You can do basic stuff. You are not allowed to take files home. So stop bringing that up. Now, the Malden office, which has got a very bad reputation, is only got about 14 to 15 people working when they need about 45.
Yeah, but like a lot of these agencies, like Mystic Valley, they have caseworker intakes that come and meet people at their homes to do all that. So this is the agencies that we want to be able to refer people to, that come in and do an intake, let them know what they need and who to refer them to. Things of that nature.
Agreed. And it's the problem is also, you have now Disability Law Center, from what I've been told, is referring people to legal aid. Like, they really are very busy right now, to the point they just don't have, they're not taking on a lot of cases.
Yeah.
They're very limited in funds, which is a problem. And to get an attorney for anything is almost nearly impossible these days.
Mm-hmm.
Most attorneys don't want to touch cases, and especially when you get into like Social Security, they don't even want to touch that, because it's gotten complex. We're still out of the house, to tell you. People keep telling me to call the mayor. I just haven't had the patience or the time to do it right now, because it's just ridiculous. This is what you run into. I mean, those people, you have nowhere else to go after a while. You're just like, what do I do?
Yeah.
You turn one way, turn the other, turn this way, turn that way. You have no, I don't know, it's like almost like upheaval. Like, there's no, it's just, they're not organized.
Mm-hmm.
Mass does good in a lot of things, but this has really turned us in a tizzy, I think.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. The other thing, Pauline, is Sophia, you can hear us, right? I know you're on here, but I think you might be on your phone.
Hi, yes,
Hi.
I can hear you guys.
Okay, Pauline, maybe you can reach out to Sophia to her email. Maybe she can help you with reaching out to people, to agencies, and I'd like to get some people for students and whatnot to come and talk on, students with disabilities, young adults with disabilities, especially when students are going to be out-aged in the system. For things like that. Maybe we can have her maybe a little project to work on, finding some people to to come and basically talk on that. Guest speaker on any agencies like that.
Great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mhm. Good. I hope you're in it for the long haul there, my friend. Yeah, she's laughing now. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So thank you, Pauline, for doing that. And yeah, you let me know, who you need. But basically, like I said, it's just like mine. If you don't know their names or whatever, just reach out to me. Just text
Yeah.
me or whatever.
All right. Sounds
I
good.
can do that. The next thing I had for our next steps from the September meeting was towards Pauline and Robert. If anybody was able to contact the agency that I had given a contact for about the comfort dog that works with the Red Cross. I had sent a name over. I believe it was it Leslie's Comfort Dogs. I had sent that information a couple of months and then I had resent it. I had gotten the information for somebody and they work with the Red Cross and things like that. So I don't know if either one of you are able to follow up and find any more information on that.
Well, I was not able to find information on that only because I was having some difficulty with my email that you know about. But on a further note, I was able to get in touch with a couple of different agencies that do work with the Red Cross as well. It's not just that one that you had sent out. I'm actually waiting on a call back from a place called Dog Bones Therapies.
Okay.
And I emailed them and what they do is they help people who want to act as volunteers. And that's exactly what the people that work with the Red Cross are doing. These are all volunteers who are working with either their dog or an identified dog to get them through the certification to become a therapy dog. Now, the
Okay.
therapy is through the AKC. It is not through any one agency,
Okay.
which is something that I was not aware of.
Okay.
And talking to them, and then there were two other places that I'm waiting again on information. They're going to actually email it back to me. Is that finding suitable pets, suitable dogs, there's certain criteria that has to be met.
Mhm.
And one of them, I was not aware of this, is that the dogs cannot be on a raw diet, which a lot of dogs I'm finding are.
Mhm.
And so, in thinking about it, you have these dogs that are on raw diets going into, say a school. Let's just use an elementary school for instance. Well, we all know that regardless of what grade these kids are in, they're touching the dog, they're touching their face. So again, it's the same thing with like the petting zoos where they've got the sanitation setups and stuff. And so one of their criteria is the dogs have to be fully vaccinated with, and you have to have their records on board. No raw diets. They have to be at least 1 year old. Some of these agencies are willing to pair like a volunteer with a dog, not necessarily your personal dog. Other agencies, you have to be paired with your dog. So I looked at Luna, who is my dog, who's turning 2 tomorrow. I asked myself, is this a suitable therapy dog? She can be very therapeutic. I will be honest. She will be, but she's still a handful. She's still a puppy. So, I'm thinking in those terms. The other people that I was going to reach out to are the local police and fire and I'm not sure where Revere got theirs therapy dogs or and I'm not even sure they call them therapy dogs. But I know that a lot of the towns surrounding us and cities surrounding us have been able to acquire through grants. So
Right.
that's something that maybe we might have to look into. But I am waiting on, like I said, the Alliance of Therapy Dogs, petpartners.org, which is a national, it's not just, based here in Massachusetts. And then again, the Dog Bones Therapy. So I
Okay.
am waiting on some information back. So at least, we'll have something to go on, and before we acquire this dog, I think we also need to investigate, the reasoning that the schools have not allowed the therapy dogs in before. And, would we be able to, as a city agency, be able to take those dogs in under us?
Yeah, well, the biggest push too is the schools are saying that they really want to start getting more into social and emotional for the students, and they
Right.
really think a
They've said
therapy
that for
dog.
years, but,
Yeah,
saying it and actually having the follow through is a huge difference.
right. And the greatest thing about a therapy dog is children that are on the spectrum have a great deal of what's the word I'm looking for? A great deal of learning and friendship and kindness with the
Yeah,
therapy dog.
they're really able to
They can
connect
adapt.
with these
Yeah, and they
animals.
can connect.
And I
Yes.
think there's also another place that, and I'm not saying that we need to look into it, but just as a note of interest, they have ponies, therapy ponies.
Right, right.
And I think that that's also, part of the Flutie Foundation does have, they've got a couple of different sites that they work with the kids in the, equestrian and that whole, getting them on the horses and getting them acclimated to that feeling of independence, that feeling of they are in control of something, and I think I think it's really, if I had to rewind, um, 40 years off of my life and go back to school for something, I probably would have gone into one of the pet therapies.
Yeah.
Just because it seems like there's such an interest in
Such a
this.
need. It is not an interest, it's such a need.
Yeah, but it's also been proven, it's also
Right.
something that has scientific basis to it. And unless there's an allergy or a real, a discernible fear, but even those can be worked through if you have the right animal.
Right, right.
So I am
Right.
waiting on all of that, and I'm hoping to get some, really solid information and get some leads on, how to get a dog. I
Okay,
got one. She's outside barking, but I do have one.
all right. Thank you, Pauline.
Right.
All right. Robert, you don't have any insight on that?
So I actually am just waiting to get contacted back from a couple of places I reached out to. One in Worcester. It's Canines for Disabled Kids. And another one that is dog therapy, which is in the South Shore. So I'm just waiting to be hear back from them and see what exactly, if they have any insight on progressing through kind of like Pauline touched in with grants and something through cities as a whole.
Okay. All right. Because the other thing too is yearly the MOD does grants. A lot of them are for are basically for physical projects, but current sometimes they do have some that you could try to pilot programs. So that's something to, if we always have the information ahead of time and we see that, it's a lot easier than if a grant comes up and that we're scurrying to find information for a program.
Right.
But if we know that programs are out there, once grants become available, it's a lot easier that we already have the information obtained to fill in the information for a grant.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. That's all I have for item 2. Item number 3 is the Cpec October updates and November, December events. So I'm gonna have Robert speak on that. I know he sent the email after the agenda had to go. So I'll just have him speak on it. Pauline, I had sent it to you so that it can go into the notes, so you don't have to write that down now, because it'll be basically what he'll be telling us now.
Okay.
So so our next meeting is November 17th at 6 p.m. in the Commons inside the high school. And that is based around therapeutic strategies for the holidays coming up, whether it be Thanksgiving, Christmas, or what have you. There'll be a representative there to help, give details and explanations of ideas to help parents, guardians with preparation for ways to, to have soothing methods or something to be prepared about or something in that regards. And then in December, we have a winter party that is coming up. It's going to be the 15th, the 10th. I apologize. It's going to be December 10th from 1 to 3 at the Park and Recreation.
Oh, so you have the date now.
Yes. Yeah, we
Okay.
confirmed it with them.
Okay, so December 10th.
Yep, from 1 to 3.
Great.
And where's that going to be held?
The Park and Recreation.
At Parks and Rec. Okay. Question, circling back to the November 17th meeting, were you able to contact the contact that I gave you to find out about the Zoom link?
No, well, I actually took it up with them, and they said that it wouldn't be because that's through the city, and this being not necessarily through the city, the Cpec, because it's kind of a volunteer basis.
So Cpec can't be run on the school's Zoom link,
Correct.
but I thought Cpec was a collaboration between parents and the school system.
I'm just, I mean, as you know, I'm just as new to this, but we can't use their account is what I understood from talking with them. Because one of the things that we brought up was purchasing a Zoom account. So with that being said, I'm not sure exactly. I don't understand why, but to my understanding, that's how it was explained to me by them. And I was just as dumbfounded as you.
Because I thought they were doing Zooms before.
So we have the Zooms. It's limited to 45 minutes.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
yeah, because that's the free version.
Right.
What about all right, because that's not making it fully inclusive for everyone by not having that. All right, send me the contact via email who you spoke to.
Yeah, I was actually just gonna say that I will CC you in an email to try and get the full breakdown of how it was. And I know that this was brought up with Dr. Galucci as well. So
Okay.
we can figure out, I'll make sure that there's there's
Because
an email.
you're using the high school, you're using the Learning Commons to have the meeting.
Correct.
Am I missing something, Pauline?
No, it would seem reasonable that it would seem reasonable that it would be able to be done. However, what they're probably going to say is because it's quote volunteer and that they have someone in the school department as the liaison versus, I don't know. It doesn't seem reasonable to me that they would not do it, but
Yeah.
stranger things have happened. I'd push the issue.
I'll go in front. I can go in front of the school committee.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would
That's
push
what I
the,
think might
I
need to
don't
be
see
done.
why that should make any difference. And it goes against every principle. We're talking about accessibility and inclusivity. And
I think
yet,
it's just an excuse to me. No
well,
offense, but
they're not.
they find
They
a
have-
reason not to do something. You find a reason to do something.
Right.
That just seems.
Make them own it. If
I
that
always
is.
thought, because maybe I got a misunderstanding about CPAC, but I thought CPAC was in conjunction the school department along with parents.
I don't think it's in conjunction with, I think because they have,
It's all
liaison-
volunteer based.
Yeah,
It
but
just
that doesn't mean that-
Pauline said there's one liaison, and that's
Right.
it's completely volunteer.
Right, but volunteer doesn't have anything to do with that. It's you're
Right.
using the premises and your function is based on the school. So
So I'm not
But
gonna
saying-
I'm not gonna disagree with you at all.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
no.
believe
I think it's-
I believe that we're using it because it's available. If it was like we had to put
Oh,
in
the
for
space, the space.
yes, we had to put in for these spaces. Like we planned the entire year's meetings during the summertime to
Yeah,
make sure it was available. So
Right.
it's not like it's a mandated location.
yeah, you just had to make sure there was nothing going on at that time.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, does Microsoft TeamViewer cost and all those cost too?
Say it again.
Does Microsoft team meeting cost?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Microsoft now, everything's a package, like Outlook, Excel, like to get the full versions of all of that. I believe it is a package because I have it on my work computer.
Yeah,
But we don't, that's never been brought up to use that system. I think because all in all, the Zoom is so simple
right.
by just clicking a link.
I have a question. Are the Cpec meetings televised, like on Revere TV?
No.
No.
Because that's the other thing you can do is if you can get them televised, yeah, you can do, well, no, you still need Zoom.
Yeah, but if you,
They can
especially
do a live
for this,
stream.
for this meeting that's coming up on the 17th, let's talk specific for this one right now to see if we can at least bridge it over. Because it's an outside agency coming in to speak to Revere parents, caregivers. Would that seem reasonable that could be brought forth to Revere TV to have at least that one, and then we can tackle the rest of the problems?
Yeah, that's why it's recorded or televised or streamed live on their YouTube channel.
Right, because
Absolutely.
you know what? There are people who cannot make the meetings
Right.
at 6 or 7
Right,
o'clock.
they want to be able to watch it at another
Especially if
time.
you've got kids at home, and if you have one that really needs you during that period of time, are you going to, leave them in the care of someone else, knowing that could really spiral out of control? Whereas if it was televised and it was something that was live streamed, you could have access to right there. You could start, it just
Right.
seems reasonable
Yeah.
that might be a way to at least to get it started.
Yeah. I can give you the contact for who to contact at Revere TV.
Yeah, please. And like I said, as soon as I get out of work tonight, I'll make sure I get that email chain set up, and because I think that's a good idea. By bringing it forward, using the fact that there is a speaker coming in to talk about, especially something that is important as that and as big of a situation.
You want to be able to reach the biggest population that you can, the most people that you can, whether it's live in person, whether it's recorded, or it's live on possibly Revere TV in a way that they can watch it recorded after, would be beneficial to a lot of people.
I think it's also beneficial to note that it's not just for, thinking about this in all actuality. How many times have, for those of us who have kids, been invited somewhere? And wouldn't it be good that if our hosts knew this information as well? I
Mhm.
mean, think about it. I mean, I have 3. I had 3 under the age of 2, and it was a handful. And, just thinking back, it would have been nice if my host had been aware of some of these maybe preventative or these techniques or whatever, and had those in place.
The other thing too, the other good thing about having, not for this meeting, but for having Zoom capabilities is such as we had, you can have guest people come that physically can't come to your location to present. They can be right onto the Zoom, Robert, and you'll be able to have a presentation from them, and it would be via Zoom. So you can be able to bring in a lot more agencies and a lot more advocates for the families.
Yeah.
That
I agree. And because that opens up so much more
right.
because they don't have to travel.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be an hour out of their time. It could be a 20 minutes, a half hour.
Right.
And more likely for them to understand the limited
And the other thing with Zoom too is, you could always find an interpreter. They could always have an interpreter on it that can interpret what they're saying in a different language. Like I know the Spanish community can interpret a lot of city meetings or whatnot. They'll have somebody interpreting it in Spanish or in Portuguese or whatnot, or in Arabic if you have somebody that does that. So that's the other thing with the technology that will make it a lot easier, because there's nothing more harder for somebody that's going to come to a meeting in person that doesn't speak their language. It's to them, it's like, why am I going to go there if I don't understand the language? But if it's something that's done electronically, and if there's capabilities of getting it translated somehow, or a translator interpreting it or whatnot, that even opens it wider for more people to be able to get the information.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So that's what you have for October updates, November and December. Is there anything else that you had, Robert? That's what you have for now, right?
Yes, as of right now, that is the updates for the next 2 months.
Okay. All right. Perfect. As you've seen on the agenda, there was no monthly CODA meeting for October. It got canceled at the last minute because the facilitator celebrated the Jewish holiday, and she had forgotten to let us know ahead of time that we were not having a meeting, the regularly scheduled first Wednesday of the month in October. So that's why there was no meeting on here, or no CODA updates. Item number 4 was communications. I did not receive any communications to share with the commission. Item number 5 is commission members. If any commission member has any other late items that you weren't able to get to me in time for the agenda to be published, I'm not sure if anyone had anything.
Just the flyer that I sent to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I seen the flyer, and basically it has the information on it with the finalized. That's the November flyer, correct?
Yes, and we're just so that's basically what it's going to be like, and then we're just waiting to get.
I forwarded it over to Pauline. I just forwarded it over to her.
Yep,
Thank you.
I'm gonna get it. We just gotta wait to get it. All the rest of them translated.
Yep, no problem. Yeah, and once you have that translated, Robert, just send it to me, and I'll put it on the disability page. The only thing that I asked for, if you could send everything to me as a and not as a PDF, but as a photo.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this way I can just put it, because sometimes when you put it as a PDF, it's harder for them to open it. But if I put it on the Disabilities Facebook page, the photo, it's right there, and they can see it right then and there.
Yeah, I actually usually just save it to my computer and then just upload it to the email.
Oh, perfect. So once I get them all, I'll post them all on there together. Item number 6 is residents' concerns or issues. The only thing that basically I mentioned before is, some residents are looking for me to be an advocate and call different places for them, and that's basically not what the Commission on Disability does. We act as a commission that will give resources to residents on who they can contact. So, we try and, to the best of our ability, let them know who to contact. We don't physically contact agencies or anything for them personally, but we try and give the resources to them on who they can contact. To the best of our knowledge, that's updated that we have. If an agency has changed or doesn't do it and they don't notify us, we don't know until we're notified that they no longer do certain services or whatnot. So our information is only as good as the agencies tell us. So I do my best on to facilitating and passing that information along to everyone. And Jason, that's how I met Jason. right during COVID, and Jason can attest to that, I'm sure. So, trying to get him the resources and do the best that I can.
Definitely.
Anyone else have anything else to add before I go to the next steps?
No.
So next steps is basically Pauline with the calendar and who we can reach out to set up to come to monthly meetings for informational or for quick discussions, and also follow up once we get some follow-up information regarding comfort dogs. Those are the two main topics that we have for right now. Not sure if there's anything else that we want to add for next steps. Is anybody thinking of anything that we want on here for next steps?
Just on next steps, Ralph, you may want to get in contact. I know that nobody wants to think about snow, but I know that JROTC has already
The team, they're already,
all of that. Just to make sure that they're not getting inundated with calls from residents and, so
that list is already solidified, and
Okay.
they'll be, that's all getting taken by, I believe that's all getting done by either the mayor's office or the senior center, and the people will be getting notified who was on the list. There is a list, unfortunately, for that, but that's handled.
I know.
That's all handled through them. So I know there's a few year waiting list on that.
Okay, great.
Item number 7 is just a reminder, the Commission on Disabilities office works remotely. Residents can speak to staff from our 311 Constituent Service Center Monday through Friday when you call our office at 781-286-8267. They will be able to answer most of your questions, but if they are unable to, or if you would like to call back from our department, please ask to be transferred to the Disabilities office voicemail and someone will get back to you as soon as possible. As always, please let us know if you would like something discussed or brought up and added to our monthly meeting agenda. You can also let us know if you'd like to speak on any issues or concerns. The Commission is here to help and assist all of the disabled residents and families of Revere. Our next meeting via Zoom will be Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 at 6 p.m. That coincidentally is also Election Day. So everybody, please remember to either get out and vote, or hopefully, if not, you've already registered for your mail-in ballot, or as I believe I posted before that, well, I know in the primary there's ways to do it electronically. I'm not sure if it was still set up to do it electronically for the main election, but please make sure you do your civic obligation and follow your right to vote, because every vote does count. So take that, that's one of our rights as a U.S. citizen, and please follow through with it. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Yep, motion to adjourn.
Mario?
Yep, first, second, Jason.
And second by Jason.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Thanks, bye. Have a good month,
All right.
everybody.
Have a
Bye.
good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.